Hello. Come on in. Hello. Happy Monday night to you. To studio. If you have some questions, get them ready for me. I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, so let's see who's in here. Okay, so let's see who's in here. Okay, so let's see. Hello, Blessed Two. Hi, Tamika. Hi, Miss B. Washington. Thank you for coming in. Hello, Debbie Epps. Good evening. Hello, Kathy LeClaire and Sheila McElroy and NPP. Tia, I'm glad you're here. Nikki W, thank you so much for coming. Mary Furch, how you doing? Hi, Cheryl Smith. I'm doing much better, guys. The allergies are a little bit better today. Last week I was really suffering. My daughter bought me a face shield, that you can see through, that I can wear when I'm working outside in the food forest because the wind is so high right now in Mesquite, Texas. Let's see if I can adjust this a little bit. That might be a little bit better. Hello, Miller's Garden. Zen Grower 66 is here. KRW Beauty is here. And Mary Furch, I think I may have spoken to you, I'm not sure. Nikki W is here. Hypercentric, nice to see you. Myra McClan, Miller's Gardner, Garden, Lashonda Muhammad, C. Holmes. My food forest is called It's All Natural. I love it. It's all natural. Cool. Greetings, Sandra Garrett. Hi, Lolita. Okay, I'm going to take some questions right off the bat. And if you put them in all caps, I will be happy to try to answer them. It's a little bit better. Hello, Karen Witherspoon. Hello, Helen Lee Zabatini and Lolita Edwards. Aloha. So if you guys have any questions, I'm ready for you. Or if you want me to just talk about what I have on my agenda, we can do that too. Thank you, Shawana Ruth. I'm so happy you're here. Hi, April. Okay, let me get started. So what I've been doing, The last 2 weeks is I've been transplanting my baby fruit trees or trees that are less than 2 years old. I see a question coming up. My Meyer lemon tree leaves are turning yellow. I don't know what to do. Helen, that is, in my experience, that has happened to me when I gave them too much water. How old are your trees? Cut them back, cut back on the watering. They don't need as much water as you think. In fact, they like to have the soil around the roots to dry almost completely out before you rewater. I know sometimes you're in a rainy period and you can't help that, but if it's in a pot, you can move it to shelter it. So I hope I've helped you in some way. If you could think of any other information that you can give me, please feel free to type it in, and I will address it. Okay, here's Myra. Can you can different size jars of the same food at one time, specifically water bath? Yes, ma'am, you can. And you can do the same thing in a pressure canner as well. For example, in your pressure canner, depending on how big it is, I know the one I have, the All-American canner, it has that little steel tray that you put down because you never want your jars to come in direct contact with the heat. So you could put quartz there in those canners and then put the second metal tray on, and let's say you put pints. But the only thing about it is you're going to have to pressure can for whatever is the largest jar. And so, for example, if you're doing meat, you can pressure can meat for 90 minutes and in quarts and 75 minutes in pints. So if you pressure can, those two sizes together, you would have to pressure can everything at 90 minutes. And that's not recommended with some vegetables that you may be canning. So as a rule, I pressure can quartz with quartz, or the, I don't have it close by. It's a little bit less than a quart. I'll go ahead and do that. But I don't have a vast difference like a quart and a half a pint in the same canner. I hope I've answered your question. Lady Cheryl, how do you get your green so nice? Zen Grower 66, you need to follow what I'm doing. Or you could go back and you look at my playlist for my seedlings from last year and this year, and you will see that I am retired, so I really baby my seedlings. And what I mean by that is I started them outside, and then we ran into trouble with 108-degree temperatures Fahrenheit in Mesquite, Texas, so I had to bring them in. And because they were outside, I wasn't sure if they had fungus gnats or anything like that, so I had to spray them with neem oil and water. And then I brought them inside my home in the grow room, and I put them under grow lights. And this year was the first time that I didn't harden off or acclimate my seedlings from transitioning from inside to outside, because what I did was I used shade cloths, and then I would unclip the shade cloth for 15 minutes, and every day I would add another 15-minute increment until they got used to full sun. And then when that happened, after that I put a netting over it. You could use tulle from Walmart or anywhere, fabric store, or you could order the netting that I purchased online because it has a little metal in the thread, metallic, and it holds up better than the tulle. The tulle by the end of the season will be dry rotted for me if I started them in July. So I like this insect netting that I get from Amazon. And I always spray around my beds with my insect repellent and it's in my playlist for insects. And it is, and I say it almost every week, garlic that I grew in my garden, the scapes that I really didn't use, onions, and I let it ferment for 2 weeks. Then I strained it and I put it in a big pot and I brought it to a boil and I added red pepper flakes that I grew in my garden. And then I strained it and then I put it in gallons. And I spray this all around, to deter the insects from laying their eggs, their cabbage worms, their aphids, and what have you. So thank you. That's how I get my greens. And if you keep following me, you'll see as we go along, I will be showing you the updates on how they look. The only thing I didn't plant this year that I wanted to, and that's because of our current situation, and I don't do a lot of shopping in stores. I did not plant what I had decided last year after someone gifted me them, and that it's cabbage, brassicas, cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli. And I just haven't gotten out. I went out last week and everything looked horrible. So I wasn't going to pay for plants that were already on life support. So I may go to one of my favorite nurseries and see what they have. Maybe I'll call first. But I will be perfectly honest with you guys, with me helping with my little Grand Angel Bria's virtual kindergarten. I don't get out during the day, and usually I just go to the post office or Home Depot or Lowe's. But and then I've been working on my line. It's no excuse, but I'm only one person, and I just haven't had time to shop. And I really don't like to go out and shop, but I will soon try to find some cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli. Okay, so let's get the next question. Good evening, Lady Cheryl. How do you combat rust on your fig leaves? It's a product that I recommend. It's called Serenade, and it takes care of rust spots, black spots, the worst type of powdery mildew, whether it is a powder or liquid, because I get liquid powdery mildew. I know that sounds crazy, but there's a lot of humidity in my greenhouse in the winter time, and I used it. But the only thing about Serenade is, and it's spelled just like the word serenade, and it's a red bottle. Because so many people have started gardening, they jacked up the price. In fact, I looked it up today on Amazon and it went up to $59. And I think I only paid like $29 for it about 2 years ago. And you don't need a lot. And it's an organic product. Now, I always say this when people ask me this question. There are some home remedies, but I found that they didn't work for me without burning my leaves. I've tried milk and water. I've tried baking soda and water, about a tablespoon, of the baking soda. It's real acidic. It didn't help me with my fig tree, with the brown spots and the white fungus. Serenade is the only thing that worked for me. But now, you may live in a different climate, so you may want to Google natural remedies for rust spots and try them. And you don't have to spray it on your whole fig tree. Just take one leaf and just put it on an area. Okay? Somebody even sent me a comment saying try peroxide. And I tried it. I diluted it with water. I used 3% peroxide in the brown bottle, that you get, not like what you use for hair color. And it burned my leaves too. But I was dealing with a heat wave, 100-degree temperature. The Serenade doesn't have any oils in it or chemicals. It's organic, and it clears it up. So that's what I recommend. But it does cost a lot. Okay. The next question is, can you convert microgreens into full-grown plants such as broccoli? Well, you can if you carefully prick them out. What I mean by prick is, let me see if I can demonstrate it. Okay, this is your bed. This is your where your greens are growing up like this. And you can take like a little fork or knife or whatever, or a little tool, and prick some out very carefully, not disturbing the roots, and then plant them in another container or garden bed. But usually when people grow microgreens, most people don't even grow them using soil for their medium or seed starting mix. And they may put 500 seeds in the tray, and they grow them close together so they can just cut them off, you know. So it might be something that you may be interested in trying to do, Tamika, but it's something that I wouldn't do. I know I can't do it in my weather. My greens, my broccoli, my cauliflower, my cabbage has to be well established, and it's hard to do that during the summer. So I decided uh, last year was the year I decided I would never try to grow broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower from seeds again, but I grow everything else. So I could afford a few transplants. And when I mean that, I don't mean it sarcastically. I could afford a few transplants. I meant I don't feel bad about buying transplants, and nobody should feel bad about buying transplants because I hardly grew anything from seeds before I retired. Because of the climate and where I live, I can't go a 10-hour day without checking on my seedlings and shading them if I need to, or watering them if I needed to. So I just started growing everything, just about everything, from seeds. But it's not you shouldn't feel any shame if you're the person that just buy all transplant. You do you, because you're still going to save a lot of money either way you go. But I'm just saying, once you buy heirloom seeds and you just grow a tomato plant and it gives you 100 tomatoes, and then you just take one of those seeds and do it again the next year, it's just a wonderful feeling. I tell people collecting seeds and growing from seeds is like printing your own money. And also, the food just tastes better, in my opinion. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I have started lemon trees and I'm in zone 7B. Should I bring them in? It's getting cool here. Yes, Sheila, you have to, because they can't take freezing temperatures. I think I know that they can't take temperatures below 32. Some varieties, like the improved Meyer lemons, they have been bred to take a little stronger temperature. But I do have two citrus trees, Calamondin, which hasn't fruited yet, that can take, I think it may be 24 degrees. And I have a Miho Satsuma. It's like a tangerine, a mini tangerine, and it could take real low temperatures. In fact, next year I'm going to put it in the ground as soon as I harvest the fruit that is on there. And I'm very excited about it, just to see my grandbaby's face every time she goes and look at it and she knows it's turning orange. She says, and then it was green, and then it turned yellow, and then it turns orange. And she asked me, could we taste one last week? And we did. I put it in the video. So to answer your question, I will bring my citrus trees in anytime, excuse me, anytime it is going to be 32 degrees or below. Okay, let me get a little water, excuse me. Helen Lee Sabatini, okay, I might have to put more cinders in the pot mix. You should never use any cinder in your plants. It can seep into your plants. There's a big controversy about people making raised garden beds out of cinder blocks. And I took it upon myself to do some research. And I contacted Lowe's and Home Depot, and they told me they don't use any cinder ash in their concrete or cement blocks. They haven't done that since the 80s. So whoever's talking about putting cinder, that's poisonous. Or maybe you meant to type in something else. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Hi, T-Pits. Hi, Sanja. And hi, A. Fisher Frontier Farms. So nice to see you guys today. And I see Best Yet is here. Hi, sweetie. Ebony Queen 49. I may have spoken to you already. Pacific Permaculture. My grand angels are funny. Girl, you all, honey, you should have seen them Saturday and Sunday. I have to edit this video. I'll probably try to get it up by Wednesday. I think Brian tripped over a twig and he jumped down and started doing push-ups. So everybody can see he's strong, you know. But they are very funny. And then Bria said, I told them, I said, you all keep talking, trying to get in my video. I said, I've created some monsters. And Bria says, and I had stopped filming because I said, I'll have to edit all of this out. And then Bria said so sweetly, she said, you didn't create me or us. Jesus created us. And I said, what did you say? And she looked like she thought she was in trouble. Because I don't know what kind of expression I had on my face, but I was shocked that she said that. But anyway, so I got my camera, you know, I use my phone, my cell phone. And I said, say that again, Bria. And she says, you didn't create us, Jesus created us. And then I explained to her, and you'll see it in the video. I don't want to give it away. I want you to watch the video. But I explained to her what I meant. So they are little people. And they are soaking up knowledge, children, like a sponge. And that's why we have to be very careful about what we say and what we do, because our little young people are modeling after us and they imitate us. In fact, some days when her dad drops her off, my daughter's husband, he'll say, here goes your mini-me, because she goes all around the house with her Kindle and she makes videos. And then her dad told her to stop making videos. But he sent me a little clip that she was making a video despite, I think it might have been part of punishment for something. He said, no more videos. And she was making a video and she said, okay, I got to stop. My daddy's coming. And he sent me that and I just cracked up. This was before the pandemic. Okay, they are really funny. Thank you, Pacific Permaculture. Hello, Dolly. Hello, Valerie. Hello, Myra. Okay, so Myra, you're in 6B and you put an improved mind lemon in the ground? Wow, you're the first person I know that is in that garden zone that put it in the ground. But what you can do, since it's done, is you can cover it with towels, old blanket, frost cloth, sheets, whatever you can. But whatever you do, don't put a straight tarp on it, even if it has like a cotton in the inside of it, because that plastic will sweat and it'll make it rot. But after you put what I just named, either frost cloth sheets, towels, or old blanket, wrap that around, and then put a tarp on it, or even a giant garbage bag, depending on how big your tree is. You can do that. But never let plastic itself, or no matter how coated, you know, some tarps have something like this texture of this paper towel on one side, not even that tight. Now, why am I telling you that? Because I've done it and I've ruined some stuff. So I try to pass on information to people so they won't make the same mistake that I made. Okay? MB. Lady Cheryl, did you get the seeds I sent? I went into the post office today because I had difficulty with one of my orders, the computer. I print all my labels, shipping labels through the post office, and I went in because something was wrong with a address, and I forgot I didn't have the right set of keys with me. So I go to the post office Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I will let you know. I'm sure they're there. I apologize. I forgot, in my haste, I forgot my keys to the box. Okay, I mean, what is the, what is the NPK? Somebody was saying something in the fertilizer. I can't tell you that because it would depend on how strong you make it, how long you ferment it, and all the research that I've done on this comfrey fertilizer. They can't give you specifics of the nitrogen, NPK, potassium, NPK. What is the other one, guys? I can't think right now. But the research says the comfrey blocking 14, Russian blocking 14, has all the nutrients that you need in it for any plant to survive. So I can't give you the exact NPK. Google what is the NPK in comfrey and you'll see what I mean. It depends on how strong you make it. But everything that I grow organically in my food forest gets some comfrey tea. Twice a year and once a year on the persimmons. And I'm going to tell you why. The persimmons have, and some other fruit trees, but the trees that I got, the persimmons have a long tap root, which means they can go deep down into the earth and pull up nutrients that haven't been used. And that's the same thing that the comfrey does. Okay? So you don't have to replenish and by giving persimmons fertilizer. Hi, Valerie. You can just call me Pacific or Ron. Okay, how you doing, Ron? Hey, Zach, good to see you. Thank you, Helen. I have 6 grand angels, and I love them. But these 2 are my daughter's children. They live a mile and less than a mile and a half from me. So I see them, and their dad is working from home, and my daughter is working. She's assistant principal at her school, and she's in her own office, and she wears the shields and the mask. And so we are the only ones that really be around each other because we know that we are following all safety and sanitation with this pandemic. Okay, Brenda Allen. Excuse me. Hello, Lady Cheryl and everybody. Can I put a canvas? Yes. Trap on my peach tree and berry bushes. Yes, but why, Brenda? I want to know why you feel that you need to put a canvas tarp over your peach tree. Because you don't need to do that if you bought a peach tree that is compatible for your gardening zone. And this is why I like Stark Brothers and Isom's Nursery online. Because they won't even sell you a tree if it's not compatible with your gardening zone. So you can learn a lot by just clicking on different trees. So my peach trees don't need to be covered. Berries and bushes that are compatible in your area, they don't need to be covered. I used to cover my strawberries. I found that I don't even have to do that because they can grow in my zone. The only tree I will protect is my Galo apple tree because something is wrong with it. It's a little slow up here. It starts to bloom every year in February. And then it gets loaded with little bitty, beautiful. If you go back and look at my video, and you'll see my son, my baby son, I'm getting ready to talk about him in a minute. He comes over every year, and my son-in-law, and we wrap Christmas tree lights in that tree to try to lower the temperature about 8, 10 degrees, so we could save some of the fruit. But this year, I told my son, you know what? We're not going to move those Christmas tree lights. And by the way, it's not the LED Christmas tree lights. They don't throw off hardly any heat. It is the old-fashioned type, and they're called C9 and C7. And you can get them on eBay Amazon, Walmart, any place. And this year I left them there in the tree in case it happens again. And then we always cover it with sheets, frost cloth, blankets. And the reason why I say these other things is because I bought the expensive frost cloths from Greenhouse Maker Store and they ripped when it got so cold. So I'm not buying that anymore. I can just use old sheets. And but this year I made up my mind, since I have 7 apple trees, and that Gala apple tree is the biggest and the highest producer, I'm not even going to cover it this year. If we get an unexpected freeze in February or expected freeze in February, it is what it is. Because the other trees are now, other apple trees, I have 7 in all. I think I have 4 of them to produce, 4, maybe 5 this year. So each year, your yield will get bigger and your harvest will be larger. So Brenda, if you got the right trees for your gardening zone, you do not have to cover them. But you can put in your garden zone in the farmersalmanac.com and see if the tree that you have is compatible for your area. Oh, okay, good. Myra says she saw Brian doing the push-ups. I couldn't remember, girl. I couldn't remember if that was in the video I put out the other day or if it was in the video I'm going to put down. I mean, I just looked at him and kept on filming. Then he dropped down and and Bria was counting them off 10 or whatever. So I just thought that was really funny. Okay. Hey, Tony, I'm glad you're here. April said, Lady Cheryl, what are your thoughts on the pawpaw tree fruit? April, my next video will reveal that Brian and Bria and I transplanted 2 container-grown 2-year-old pawpaw trees in the ground. And it's on my list to talk about today. We planted them in a hugelkulture. And if you don't know what a hugelkulture is, hold on, I'm going to explain it to you. I was first introduced to pawpaw fruit when I was instructing beauty college. And several students would give me some, bring me some. And I fell in love with it. And it was around the time that I was getting ready to retire. And I wrote it down in my diary. I said, when I retire, I'm going to buy me some pawpaw trees. So I started researching. And I purchased the trees from Stark Brothers. And I want to say I have a sunflower that I'm looking off like that because when I do that, I can remember the labels. I want to say I have a sunflower, ASS overlease. And I think the other one is Pennsylvania. I will feature them in the video that I'm going to drop probably Wednesday morning. And the reason why you don't see a lot of pawpaws in the store is because they don't have a long shelf life. For example, farmers will pick apples before they get ripe, and they'll spray this wax coating over it. And they can be in storage for 6 months before, and you don't even know, and you think you're getting fresh fruit. But pawpaws, they're not able to chemically treat it to make it retain its freshness. So it's very, very hard to find. And that's why a lot of home gardeners and farmers grow pawpaws. It's delicious. It's a cross between banana, pineapple, custardy. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's delicious. These trees have not produced any fruit yet, but I'm looking for fruit in the near future. Hi, Eco Neighbor. Hello, Mabel. Nice to see you. You have a couple future media stars there, Cheryl. Yes, I really think that their parents, because they work real hard. And if they had the time to encourage them and push them along, they could have, because there's a lot of kids that have a million viewers, and they just interview, they just get a toy, and they will assemble the toy together and tell the children, that's their audience, what they think about the toy. You know, there's a lot of kids that have a lot of YouTube channels. Hi, Nana. How you doing? Okay. Lady Cheryl, how can I can red and green peppers and olive oil? Check out my playlist on canning. I have 2 of them. And if my back wasn't hurt, I would run to the pantry and get one and show it to you. But you just look at my playlist for canning. It has a lot of videos there, and I take you step by step. And they last a long time. And let me share something with you. When you can red and green peppers, they look so pretty in the jar. And the orange ones, oh my. They look very, very beautiful. A year later, they still look beautiful. Hi, Yolanda. Thank you for being here again today. I appreciate you. Okay. Thank you, Antia. It is phosphorus. Hey, Peanut, how you doing? I shouted you out about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Peanut. I don't know if you saw that video. I told everybody about your pepper jelly and hurricane season, everything. I told everybody to check out peanut peppers. Dolly Mack. Okay, here's a question. Next time, put it in all caps for me, okay? I planted my collards in July. Shouldn't have done that. But I looked around 2 weeks ago and they were trying to come up now. I sure hope they do. They will. They will. Depending on where you live, because collards can take below 0. It can take, I think it's cold as 5 below 0. Something just ran across my mind. My mother's last surviving sister passed away was around Thanksgiving time, because my sister was in Texas when she passed away. And she had collards in Gary, Indiana to go grow all through the winter. Sure did. So they're fine. What is the fair price on eBay for the comfrey root? Debbie Epps. I'm trying to think about what I paid, maybe $12.99 for some little small cuttings. I have about 10 cuttings that I'm getting ready to, and I'm not selling them. I'm just saying I'm going to bring them in the greenhouse and put them in small containers and grow them for the winter. We dug up in the middle of the area where I'm growing some comfrey to try to get a tree in there. And those roots are so deep and so compacted that we gave up on it. But I got some roots because I've been, I don't know if you all noticed this, but I've been planting little comfrey here and there everywhere all around the food forest. And so when I say that I cut cuttings, people automatically think that I'm going to sell them, and I'm not. I'm just propagating. Because I don't sell anything from my food forest. Maybe one day I will, but right now I don't do that. Okay, Little Miss Vicky did well this year. All right, Lynette, I'm happy for you. I've been hearing about that tree, but I've never looked into it or grown it. That's special to have those grandkids close to help in the garden. Yes, and my fondest and earliest memory of gardening comes from my grandparents. It's cold here, okay, Brenda. I think you were asking me about, I'm going back to find you, about covering up your peach trees. Okay, but still put the type that you have in. Go on to either Isis Nursery, Farmer's Almanac, or Stark Brothers, and they'll tell you if your peach tree can handle that cold. Okay, let's get the next question. Okay, MB, my peach tree is just now putting out flowers, zone 10, while it is in the greenhouse. Yeah, that can happen. I showed in a couple of my videos, I had apple trees that I already harvested the apple, and they start blooming again. That happens when you have a deep fluctuation in the temperature. Okay? And you're in zone 10, so it's no issue. You can, as long as that peach tree is compatible for your zone, it can flower several times a year. Thank you, Dolly Mac. Lynette Lawrence, I don't know anything about the figgy miniature fig trees. But I do know that my fig trees, I don't do anything. I'm growing brown turkey figs. They were this size, unrooted cutting from eBay. And now one is about 9 feet and the other one is about 6 feet. I don't do anything. And the one that is smaller, that had the most structure and other trees growing around it, it died completely back to about maybe that tall from it's in the ground, but it came back. But I did my research. When I researched, I found out through the books that I bought, and of course, online, what is the best fig tree to grow in Zone 8A. So going forward, hi Angela, good to see you. Going forward, always do your research before you buy something. And not to be putting down any big box stores, but a lot of them will have things that you should grow in your area. And just put it that way. Okay, so let me go back to where I stopped off. He was pumping the push-ups. Yes, he was, Ebony Queen. My tree is turning red. We had a frost. I'm in Zone AA. Peach tree, the leaves are turning. You're going into your fall. That's normal. They're so pretty when they change colors like that. Hello, TJ. Pawpaw wine. That's something I can look forward to in the future. Thank you, C. Holmes. And Eco Neighbor says she used old school lights for her tropical plants. Very good. Can you can squash leaves and sweet potato leaves? I've never tried. I don't know. TJ. You could go to the Ball's website or Home Preservation website. It's the government agency. I don't know. I don't even know why you would do that. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. But I know I do eat sweet potato leaves of the Beauregards, and there's a heart-shaped leaf, and it tastes really good. But I wouldn't can them because I grow too many greens and spinach, the real thing, kale, cabbage, mustard, turnips, that type of thing. Okay. Today was a good day in the garden, rain, sun, bloom. Okay. Hi, Shasha. Nice to see you. Don't forget to make this content. What do you mean, best yet? You mean to show the comments? I do that every time, but sometimes it doesn't work. I heard a couple other people talking about it too. Hi, Living Miracle Homestead. Hi, that's Kathy. How are you? Autumn Whispers. Hello, Cheryl, everyone. Okay. Never pull your collars. I have a bush that is 10 years old. TJ, that depends on where you live. I wouldn't dare keep collard greens that long because it's so hot here. They don't grow. They don't taste good. And all they do is attract cabbage worms. So mine go in and they go out because I don't have that much land and I need that real estate to grow my tomatoes and my peppers or whatever. So I rotate my crops. Now, if you live somewhere way out on a farm, you got an acre or something too, and you live in a climate where you're not dealing with 108-degree temperature like we did this year, then I would say never pull your collards. but I pull mine. Even tree collards. I don't even like to taste the tree collards in the summertime. I like collards when they're kissed by a frost and they taste sweet. So to each his own with that one. Okay, Brenda Alley, yes, collards and lettuce are growing good here. Yeah, the weather is cooled down. Yeah, I'm like you, Yolanda, 10 years. Wow, that's really great. Dana Springs, good evening. How you doing? Thank you, Antia, for asking everybody to like this video and leave a comment if you can. Good evening, love lady. Hi, Erica. Where did you purchase your soursop trees? I didn't purchase them. I bought seeds from eBay. I'm very proud of 2 trees in my garden that I grew from seeds. One are my 2 soursop trees, and I was so frustrated with them, I almost gave them away. They were making me mad. They were dropping the leaves. It was too humid in the greenhouse, but I finally figured it out. They like to be up under the gazebo with partial shade until about October. And then when it starts to get cooler, I must bring them inside the house and put them under a grow light. They cannot take a heated greenhouse because it's too humid. So now that I know after the 3rd year what I'm doing, I'm really looking forward to them producing fruit. And the other 2 trees that I have that I grew from seeds are mimosa trees. And I just like the way that tree looks. It can be very evasive, and I've had people to tell me that I'm going to regret growing it, but I'm going to put it way to the back of the food forest where it will lean over in the alley. So it won't be messing with any of my neighbors on either side, and it won't interfere with my food forest itself. I like the way it looks. It attracts hummingbirds and a lot of other pollinators to the food forest. Okay, Bug Boy, how often do you water collard greens, Swiss chard, and kale when it's not happening? Oh, I water that like once a week. Once the temperature drops below 80, once a week. By Wednesday, it's going to get up to 88 degrees, so I will have to water twice a week. You're in zone North Carolina 6B, and it hasn't rained. Give it some water at least once or twice a week. I'm only getting about 1.5 hours sunlight with the changes in the seasons. Can I grow beets in the shade? Yeah, you can, but they're not going to be prolific. And you can grow kale, you can grow collards, you can grow cabbage, mustard, turnip, any of your green things. Why can't you try putting some in containers so you can move it to where the sun goes, Yolanda? That's what I would recommend. Okay, here we go. Miss Cheryl, we had lemon tree that had gotten confused with the seeds. The nursery suggested it was in shock and spanking the trunk may help. I don't think that happens. I think you think it's confused, but you usually don't harvest lemons until about March. So they grow during the summer and all winter, and then you harvest them about March. So your timing with your lemon tree may be off. And as far as spanking them, the only thing that I heard that you can spank gently is a tomato plant. If they're not producing any flowers and they self-pollinate, you can thump them a little bit. But I've never heard about spanking the trunk of a tree to get it unconfused. I may be wrong, but I don't think that's logical. And when you say nursery, are you talking about a big box store or expensive nursery where they hire people that know about plants? Because you'll find sometimes you have people working in these stores, they don't know more than Brian and Bria knows. And that's not a slam to nobody, it's just the truth. One of the ladies at Lowe's told me, oh, that's a good fertilizer. I asked her what was good about it. Just like that, what's good about it? She couldn't tell me anything. So you need, my mom used to say, consider the source. So when somebody gives you some information, you got to know if they are knowledgeable in that field. They may be a very intelligent person, but telling you to spank a lemon tree, I'm sorry, I've never heard of that. I hope you didn't do that. Okay. Okay, Ebony Queen, have you ever canned butter? No. Ebony, I know that Miss Homestead Hart cans butter. I can't eat a lot of butter. I have to keep my cholesterol low, so I don't eat a lot of butter. So it wouldn't make sense for me to can it. Also, it's just me. So, I don't have any desire to can butter. But you can do it. You can can milk too. Also, there's some Facebook groups that I see them. I'm in on Facebook, and they can butter, they can flour. They be canning a lot of different stuff. Okay, thank you, Auntie Pat Gray. How you doing? Figs are one of my favorites. Me too, Kathy from Living Miracle Homestead. But some eating my figs. They're eating at the bottom. Usually, the birds will get the ones at the top, and I don't know. I pray that I get some figs this time. Thank you, Helen. Okay, I purchased a pear tree on sale at Lowe's. When I got home, I noticed the leaves had brown spots on them. Well, if it's on sale, just try to grow it. Keep your receipt, because on sale or not, Lowe's will refund your money if you bring the tree back in and it doesn't make it. My experience with pear trees is once they start getting those brown spots on them, it turns into blight, fire blight. And my research told me that it comes from too much fertilizer. So people say, well, Miss Cheryl, you organic. Yeah, but I don't know how the tree was grown. I don't know if it had blight before I even got it. Is that why they put it on sale? I bought trees on sale at Lowe's and they didn't make it. Okay? All right. Big box stores in my area often put out plants for sale out of the season. I love to catch plants on life support at Lowe's. And I've told this before. Lowe's buy their plants right out from the nursery. So anything they can't sell, they put them in the back of the garden center and they reduce them. Home Depot put their plants in on consignment. Anything that they don't sell, they don't mark it down. The companies come in and pick everything back up and take it back to the greenhouse, which I'm sure they composted or whatever. So Lowe's is the best place for me to catch things on sale. This year, Bria and I haven't been doing it, but we would go every day, almost every other day. People knew Bria by name, and we would look for plants on life support. And that's a way to really get some good plants and trees. Okay, Pat Gray, was the tree underwater or a bug infestation? Was the tree? I think you're saying your tree was underwater or had a bug infestation. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pat. But the question is, do I use neem oil and dish soap? You can if you got a bug infestation, and this is the time of year you can do it. TJ, have I eaten squash leaves? No, but I've eaten squash blossoms. Again, I grow a lot of greens, so I really don't. I grow what I like. I'm not saying I wouldn't like squash leaves, but I can't see me eating them because I have so many other greens to eat. Lady Cheryl, will you sing your beautiful song, Make This World? Valerie, no. I think some of you are getting tired of that song. Because do you know that we know exactly how long the average person watches our video? And mine is going down and down. And I think it's because they're skipping through. Make this work. You know what it goes. They're skipping through that part. And they're skipping through when Bria says, "Thank you for watching. Bye now." Or the end. They're not watching that part. Yes, Susan. Collards need frost to turn sweet. I don't know if that's a question or a statement. Whatever you're asking me or say, you are absolutely right. Collards need frost to turn sweet. Put hair in the ground for cabbage worms and slugs. Uh-huh. It didn't work for me, TJ. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a retired hairstylist and beauty college director, educator, and I have a home salon in my garage. And the hair on the ground doesn't do anything for the cabbage worms and slugs in Texas. If that's working for you, TJ, keep doing it. And but it doesn't work for me. And my son owns a barbershop. Gotten some of his, you know, they have a lot of hair, clipper all day long. It doesn't help. I've heard it's supposed to help with mice too and rats. It doesn't help. TJ says your greens taste sweet all year long. That's wonderful. Where do you live? I'm happy for you. Susie says, is your sugar-free strawberry jam recipe on your playlist? It sure is. I think I used honey. And I might have used a little stevia. I'm not really sure. But it's on my list, Susie. Oh, and you've got wild muscadines growing. That's wonderful. I have 9 pounds. They're not wild, but I got them from Ison's nursery. I have 9 pounds. We picked 10. And Bria and I ate about a pound. And I'm going to make some wine. I was supposed to do it a couple weeks ago, but I haven't gotten around to it. Okay. Hi, Maureen. How you doing? You say you stay away from Lowe's, Kathy. I know. Yeah, because you show in your videos, Living Miracle Homestead, guys. She be getting some bargains. I wish I could get that fruit and stuff that you get, Kathy. Okay. Okay, so let me stop right here, and I'm going to shout out a couple channels, and then I'll keep on with the questions. And then I'm going to give you some pearls that I had decided to do. And the first channel I'm going to shout out is Dan's Permaculture Food Forest. He's in Florida. Dan's Permaculture Food Forest. I really admire this young man. I think he said he'd only been growing food about 3 years, but he thoroughly researches everything. And he has a lot of exotic food, trees, things I have never heard of. So if you want to learn how you can organically grow food on your land and have food growing 365 days of the year, I urge you to check out Dan's Permaculture Food Forest. The next person on what channel I want to shout out, we used to call him Zapper. His first name is Rob. It ain't new, but he changed the name of the channel to Essayons Family Garden. Check him out. This guy is growing mushrooms. He cooks a lot of different foods. I think he's in Virginia. I'm not really sure. He and his wife and 2 boys. And I could tell one of the sons, the oldest one, is going to be a YouTube star. I could just tell because he reminds me of Bria and Brian. He just have a natural instinct of what to say and where to be when the camera is in position. You know, you'll see him getting in the focus. But that's not the most important reason why I want you all to check him out. He thoroughly researches, just like Dan. and he puts good content out there, and they are doing some remarkable things. This guy does, and I might mention him before because this seems like I'm repeating myself. So I might have mentioned him about 3 or 4 months ago. But he does straw bale gardening, container gardening, raised bed gardening, in the ground gardening. They were raising chickens, and he does a lot of barbecuing. And I mean, just check it out. Essayons Family Garden. Now, not tonight, but tomorrow I will go in and edit the description, and I'll put a link to those two people that I just shouted out. And the next person I want to shout out is, I didn't put her last name down. Patricia Ncube, Angela, Busy Bees Garden, you're here. Would you put her name in the comments? Because I know I see your comments on hers too. Patricia, I think it's Ncobe. She starts every video out. She's working in the garden. She's doing something. And I like to watch her in the morning to get my day started because her voice is so calming and relaxing. And she encourages people to ask questions or answer questions, and then she will read their answers out. And in fact, the video I watched of hers today, she was soliciting the answer to a question one of her subscribers wanted to know what was some of the fastest things that you can grow in this time of the year. And I know Angela answered that question because she featured you and she featured my answer. And so I want to give a shout out to her. And I think it's Patricia Ncobe. I may be wrong, but I tell you what, I'm going to put it in the description, a link to her channel. And so those are the three people that I want to shout out today. Now, I'm going to be shouting out other people, okay? But these are the three that I want to shout out today. Open and ask for them. Okay, Auntie, they throw trees away, and you get there early and ask for them. There's a fly in my house. Yes, Gardening with Joy. Ncube. I think it's newbie. And best yet, you know Patricia. She does recipes. She takes, for example, who is that? TJ stop asking me about squash leaves. She'll take the squash flowers. And I mean, you got to, if I tell you to check out a channel, I hope you trust me enough to know that I wouldn't steer you wrong. So every week I'm going to try to highlight 3 people, because this is no competition. We all are in here to learn from each other and to help each other, okay? So I don't have a clique where I will only mention or shout out 1 or 2 people, because sometimes that can backfire on you. I've seen people shout out a person over and over and over, and the channel hasn't grown at all. My phone rang in the middle of a live. Wow. So anyway, yeah, Eco Neighbor Rob is the bomb. Thank you. And thank you, Patio. She says, good to see you again. Do you have pawpaws in your backyard? Yes, you came in a little bit late. I'm going to drop a video, I believe, Wednesday morning. And I put 2 pawpaws in the ground. If you go back and watch the replay, I'll tell you exactly what 3 pawpaw trees that I have. They are 2 years old to me, and they were little sticks like this when I got them. And so they're probably about 3 years old. Yeah, I love Rob. I love all these channels that I'm mentioning. I love them. Hey, Gardening with Joy, good that you're here. Yes, Pacific, this platform is all about collaboration, and we need to work with one another and to help one another. And I'm going to give you all some little information. Some of the people that was following me no longer follow me when I dropped my line, my product line. It's just the way it is. As long as you on here and you giving free advice and you are answering questions, blah, 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 blah. But when they see that you're doing something else, they don't like it. And the sad thing about it is, let me share this with you. This is what I was working on today. This is certified 100% pure. You can see it right here. Centrola oil. Keeps mosquitoes away. See, we still in Texas, we still have a lot of mosquitoes. And so I make that mosquito repellent for my grand angels, but I burn these when we're outside and we're doing stuff. And these are just little melts. Now, the reason why I'm showing you these is because I put pictures, took some pictures and sent it to my son. He's out of town. My oldest son went to a funeral. I've had these little clamshells since 2012. The packing slip was still in the box. All I needed was the wax. All the other stuff that I had. So I'm introducing a couple of melts for people who have a lot of allergies like me. I'm doing like peppermint, eucalyptus. Of course, I'm gonna do the lemongrass, my little signature scent. And yeah, I'm regardless of people coming to my channel or not, I'm still moving forward. I'm gonna use all the gifts God blessed me with. And if you think I'm doing too much, oh well, it is what it is. And I showed you guys the first candle that I was working on. Let me get that up closer. That's my peace candle. It's top 100% soy with essential oils. No artificial fragrances, no synthetics. You're not going to be coughing unless you're allergic to that particular essential oil. Okay? So I'm still going to do my thing. Debbie says, I love all the products from your line that I purchased. Thank you very much. She's telling me thank you, and I'm telling you thank you. And you are very sensitive. So you know, if I had some junk in there, Debbie, you would have had a reaction to it. I tell everybody, I'll be honest with you. The only thing that you may have an allergy to is the total oil that's used for your body and for your hair. If you have a nut allergy, it has almond oil in it. If you're allergic to coconut oil, it has coconut oil in it. But all of the ingredients are listed. Okay. Ebony Queen, I agree with you. I'm going to get my blessing. And see, the thing about it is, I already have my clientele for the products. Because even though I shut the website down and I wasn't making a lot of products, certain things that I still made and people came to the house and picked it up. So I'll be all right. You love your hair growth. Thank you so much. Pawpaws grow in zone 5. TJ, are you asking the question or are you answering somebody's? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I did all of that. I told you about the candles. I told you about the melts. I'm going to look for some brassicas. I'm no longer going to sell them. Now I'm going to move on to the hugelkultur and talk about that and talk about my greenhouse. I want to get your questions because I'm going to wrap it up after I talk about these two things. Hugelkultur, what it is, and my greenhouse. I'm ordering some more creamy body butter. My feet stay nice and smooth. And what's so good about that is those oils penetrate your skin and those butters. And the more you use it, the less you're going to use because you're going to build up moisture in your first layers of skin, which is the epidermis. Your mom loves the hair growth promoter. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? So I want to talk about hugelkultur. Okay. Got a lot of text messages. The kids leave me alone. Okay. V Soul says, thank you, TJ. TJ, do you have a channel? If you go to one of my videos and type up a response, I'll check your channel out. Okay? All right. So now, I had a 25, almost 30 year, 25, 26, 27 crepe myrtle tree that got some type of disease. But then I found out it wasn't disease. I only have one body butter, Ebony Queen, on my website. It's only one. And it has shea butter, avocado butter, mango butter, and all the good essential oils that nourish your skin. Now, TJ, next time, please put your question in all caps. You want to know, do I have any cherry bushes? No, but I do have cherry trees. Dolly Mac, thank you very much. Have a good evening. I do have cherry trees. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about the hugelkultur. So I had this tree. I had it cut down. I thought it had a disease, but it didn't have a disease. But I need to let more light in the room. And the reason why I say I thought it had a disease, it had aphids in the tree. And I hung up these. Let me wipe my mouth, guys. I'm sorry. I take a medication that make me always have dry mouth. And it's for my thyroid. I told you I had surgery up in here. But anyway, I'm alive and I thank God. Oh, and they had this little black stuff on the tree like soot. Well, when I put, I'll put it down, babe. When I put these, let me just type this in. Oh gosh. I did it all caps so you can see it, but you don't have to do it all caps. It's LadyCherylsProducts.com. I appreciate you all if you go by there and check it out. And so I put these sticky traps, this double-sided yellow tape paper, and it killed all the ants. Well, the ants eat the sticky honeydew secretion that the aphids make. And when you got an overabundance of aphids, it'll turn to like black mold on the leaves. So I went ahead and had it cut down, and then I found out that that mold would go away when it dried out. So I used that to build a hugelkultur. A hugelkultur is when you have a tree or a lot of wood chips, branches, and you pile it all up, and you can take compost and put it in there too, aged compost or fresh compost, old containers that you've had grown a couple things in. You could put that in between the branches. And my privacy fence is 6 feet. And that pile was all the way, here's the fence, top of the fence. That pile was right here. Now it's all the way down to about 2 feet. And the branches and everything have broken down and decayed, and it's turned into black soil. And that's what happens in the food forest. And somebody mentioned pawpaw trees. They are found in ditches where there's a source of water, and they just grow in just old-fashioned leaves and wood chips. Because in the wood chips, it has mycorrhizal fungi that connects it allows the trees and the roots of all the branches and things to talk together and hold in the nutrients in the soil. And you can buy it. I used to buy it before. I used to buy mycorrhizal fungi before I started smothering my lawn out with cardboard and wood chips to smother the grass and put the wood chips on top of the grass. Well, everything that your tree or plant needs to survive is in the wood chips. So that's a hugelculture. Now, some people would take that same concept and put it inside of a container or a raised bed or whatever. Okay? Thank you, Antia. And she's putting you, letting you all know my Facebook group. So if you join the Facebook group, if you don't answer the questions, I delete them. I only approve the people that answer the questions. And you have to be a member of the group. And I started that group in 2015. But anyway, so it doesn't have a lot of members, and I don't want to brag about how many members I have. I only want serious people that we're all in there for one common cause to help one another. So that's the hugelculture. So here's my privacy fence. And about 3 years ago, or I think it's 3 years, this how high the branches and everything, every year it go down lower and lower and lower. So now it's right at 2 feet. That is what I planted. 2 pawpaw trees, 2 pecan trees, and I got one more tree to plant there, another pawpaw, and I'm gonna put 2 rose bushes in between them. And maybe even elderberry bush back there if I see if I got enough room. I bought that book about how to grow a little tree in your backyard. It's on Amazon. And you can prune your trees and keep them small. They'll be small, shorter and bushier, but you don't have to let them go real, real tall. Some of my trees I'm letting grow tall, some of them I'm not, because I'm wanting for shade. But anyway, Kathy says she tried to cut down her crepe myrtle. Yeah, I had to have somebody professionally come and do that, because I tried trimming it, I just had to have it done. But I do have, some of the roots are still there. And I suspect that is why yesterday when we tried to dig underneath that comfrey, we ran into some real deep roots and we don't have any trees in that area. Because first thing Brian said, well, maybe it's that tree right there. Well, that tree right there is a twig. It didn't have any thick roots like that. Those are those old roots from the crepe myrtle. So I'm either going to fill that back up and let the comfrey just grow in that area and plant in the hugelculture, or I'll pay somebody to come in. Okay, you have the road to success. Thank you, Living Miracle Homestead. Okay, and the other thing I want to tell you about is I have a 20, and that's my greenhouse. And I touched on it a few weeks ago, telling you all about heating up the greenhouse and what I grow in the greenhouse and how I'm going to solarize my soil, because the last thing I was going to grow in the emergency garden was peas and beans, and I couldn't grow them too well because I got a lot of spider mites in there. So I covered it up with plastic, and I'm going to let that bed solarize for 5 to 6 months, and then I'll grow something there. Kathy said, yeah, it kept coming up. Yeah, I see little shoots coming up from those roots. So the greenhouse, when the pandemic hit, everybody was on lockdown. Our city, you couldn't go nowhere unless you were an essential worker. The businesses shut down, everything. So that was in March, and it started getting really hot in the greenhouse. The thermometer read 120 degrees. It probably was higher than that, but that's as far as it'll go, Fahrenheit. So I just took some scissors and I just started cutting windows. I cut the back out. There was a zipper opening in the front, and that it still was 120 degrees. So then I cut all the windows off on the sides, and then it started getting down to 100 and inside, because the sun heats up that plastic and makes it real, real hot in there. And even though you had fans and everything growing, it just still wasn't enough ventilation. But I want to share with you, please watch my video I'm going to drop on Wednesday morning My oldest son, he's about 6'4". He came, and my greenhouse is 10 feet wide, 20 feet long, and 7 feet high. So if he's 6'4", all he had to do was just reach up and pull the plastic over. But what's so great about this greenhouse cover is it comes in 5 pieces. So there's one piece that goes over the roof, there's a front and a back, and then 2 side panels with the windows. Of course, it's plastic. So this year, in March, when it's time for me to remove the panels, I can just remove the back panel or the front panel or the side panel. I won't have to completely uncover it unless I want to. But it was very important for me to hurry up and get the cover on because I didn't want it to rain and then all that water be in there that can't be absorbed in the garden bed that I have in the greenhouse. Am I making sense, everybody? I just didn't want water just sitting up on plastic, so I had to get the top on so I could take my time and put the other panels on. I can reach them. Okay. Patio Frutal 67. Yeah, the pawpaw, once you taste it, you would want to grow it, Lily. And I forgot where you are, Patio Frutal 67. Where are you from? Because you're not in the U.S. Yeah. Can you all believe I haven't bought a tree in 2 years? I was buying trees every year. Buying, on sale. Oh, I want that. I haven't bought any in 2 years. I'm going to try not to buy any fruit trees for a while. Okay, so I covered everything that I wanted to cover tonight. I hope I've answered your questions. Thank you to my moderator, Tia. And there's a couple other people in here. Hey, Clausen World, I didn't know you were in here. Good evening. 1-1 can. Hallelujah. Thanks the Lord, for he is good all the time. Yes, he is. Okay. I think I've gotten everybody. Hey, Angela Gardner, sis, nice to see you. Is there a tree that I would like? I tried to grow. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I'm the type of person that always try to do something when people tell me that I can't do it. So I bought a jackfruit tree off of eBay. I couldn't do it. It died. I bought a neem tree. I said, well, I'm buying neem oil. Maybe I could cut the leaves up and spread it around the mosquitoes. It died. I overwatered a loquat tree. It died. And I wanted a bid on eBay for 2 avocado trees, and they died. But that one wasn't my fault. The other ones were my fault. It was infected with white flies when I got the avocado trees. But if I could get any tree right now, I think it would be an olive, a self-pollinating olive tree. Because I can't eat a lot of salt, and I love olives, so I can't buy them because it's too much sodium, but I would love to grow my own. Okay, yeah, I think that's what I would love to have, an olive tree. Hi, Soba Nere. Good to see you. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for tuning into my live. Oh, you know what? I was going to give some seeds away. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Barb Brownlee. Thank you very much. Sassy Locke says she made it to the end. Very good. I'm not going to even ask the question. I'm just going to give the Thank you for the super chat, Miss Best Yet. I'm going to give it to the seeds to Aunt Tia because I made her a moderator, and I don't even think I asked her. She was letting me know some crazy people were in here last week, and I said, I'm making you a moderator. And since you really helped me out, I want to give you 10 packs of seeds. Aunt Tia, some of these seeds may be a few years old, but please know that I keep my seeds in the freezer, so they will germinate. And if you would email me your mailing address, I was going to say physical address, to, well, it's on any of my videos. It's Cheryl Moss 0875 at att.net. You can go to any of my videos, Tia, not the live ones, because I don't put that much description in the live ones, but any of the other videos, and you'll see my email address, and I will send you those seeds, and I'll email you a confirmation when they go out. Okay. All right, that's it. You guys know that I love you, and God loves you too. Until next Monday night, be safe, everybody. Bye now. I have to get up because I can't see.